Hey guys, welcome back to Doc Lale's Mark Bagley Experience, where we talk about the first, year, maybe 2 years of his ASM run. And we talk about the art, we talk about how his art has grown. We talk about the stories too, but the stories kind of take a back seat to how he grows as an artist and how he gets better each and every month. So in this video, we're going to talk about the last two parts of Round Robin, the Sidekick's Revenge. This was written by Al Milgrom with art by Mark Bagley and inks by Randy Emberlin. So let's take a look at issue number 257. Now these issues came out bi-monthly, so it was a 3-month break for David Michelinie, who allowed it gave him a chance to kind of revamp and get reborn, so to speak, because Dave wrote the title for a long time. He wrote the title for almost 100 issues. He was there when Todd McFarlane and they co-created Spider-Man. He was there for Carnage. He was there when McFarlane left. Eric Larson took over. He was there for Mark Bagley's run, for the majority of Mark Bagley's run, and then eventually Mark stayed on the title until 415, including the cover to 416, but David left, I want to say, after 389. So anyway, to get back to this, you have this really awesome cover showing the Punisher and Nova and Spider-Man. And what I've got to say about Mark's artwork in these titles is his character work is getting even better, because you get to see Moon Knight and his fiancee or his wife, and then you get to see Peter Parker and Mary Jane. And so his character work was really strong already, because this was not his first rodeo, so to speak. He had done about 2 years or so on the New Warriors before they moved him over to ASM. But like I said, what I really like is his thin line work that you get to see right here on Spidey, on his legs. You get to see the power in Spider-Man's legs, but you also get to see the intricate line work that goes into that character. He's good with physical bodies and the physical form. He's also really good with technology. You get to see that, there's power lines and things like that that are going through Midnight's hand that has been rebuilt when he ripped his arm off earlier in the issue. And especially he's good at that Kirby crackle that everybody used to use to show electricity and things like that. You get to see that Kirby crackle as Nova breaks free from his captors. So he had long been a student of not only Marvel but comics in general, and he shows it off here. He shows off that majesty and that power and his ability to just do really good multi-character scenes. I mean, he's great when you have Spider-Man right here up close, but when you have a bunch of fighting with all of these characters, you get these speed lines with Nova, you get the Punisher up here just blasting away everybody that he can possibly, attack at once. And you even get to see like the weightlessness almost of Spidey when he bounces off of Midnight. That's something that people sometimes forget about, is they talk about how quote unquote small or not superhero-esque Spidey is as far as his stature, but at the same time it makes him more agile and it makes him able to do all of these moves that bigger, heavier guys wouldn't be able to do. Even kind of like Darkhawk. Darkhawk has that armor element to his costume. And so with that, he's not as maneuverable as Spidey is, even though he's got the wings on his suit and he can kind of glide more so than fly. But what I really like too is you've got all of these different characters, and their suits all look different. And like Moon Knight, his is white, but you get to see a lot of blacks and heavy inks on his suit to kind of silhouette him at all times. So that was a really fast-paced issue because we're setting up for the big finale in 358, and that book actually has a gatefold. See if I can do this without tearing this book open, because I've had this book for 1,000 years and I prefer not to destroy it. So it's a triple gatefold cover, and that's really, really cool to see. You get to see all of these characters. Instead of just showing off one or two characters, you get to see everybody in frame. So, like I said, he's really good. He's really good at showing. He's really good at showing off a bunch of characters all at once, and you get to see all the bad guys and get to see all the good guys on the same page. So now you know who's about to fight with each other. And this is the main page I wanted to show off here in this book. You get to see this 2-page spread of everybody fighting everybody. So it's amazing to me that Mark at that time in his career was fast enough that he could come on to Amazing Spider-Man and do 2 issues, and then the next 6 issues in very, very quick, short order. So it's amazing to see how all of that worked out. And in here, you get to see that each one of these characters that Bagley is drawing is distinct in the way they stand, in the way that they attack, in the way that they move, the way that their body language and their body armor, all of it moves together seamlessly. And I always really liked this situation here where you get this armored guy here, Sonic, and you get him, and Spidey moves out of the way at just the last second, and that allows the shot from Midnight to hit him with a cryogenic beam, and it freezes his armor. And Punisher's coming at him with a knife, and he's like, he's got a knife if he goes for my eye slits. And instead, Punisher turns it around and just kind of hits him with the butt of the knife, and his armor falls apart, because that's one of the weaknesses of having a heavy suit of armor is if you hit it with cold and then hit it with hot, either simultaneously or in short order, it creates a brittleness. And in the meantime, and I really thought, as bad as this looked, I really thought that they'd killed Nova right here, because he got caught up in that electrical web, and like you said, his momentum pushed him through, and he knocked out the guy who had thrown the net at him. But in the end, he says, the momentum took me through and knocked out Grasp, but now I'm trapped and I can't get loose. And so he goes and passes out from the pain. But you get, at the very beginning of Mark's run, you get all of these characters that he has to draw and not design, but he has to know the ins and outs and the intricacies of each of these armors and these suits. And he's got to draw the spaghetti spider webbing like you see here. He's got to take time to do that. He's got to do the Punisher's logo correctly. He's got Night Thrasher. And Thrasher and Nova aren't too bad for him to do, because he drew them for 2 years, so he knows the ins and outs of them. But still, you've got Spider-Man, who he's only been drawing at this point for 8 issues. You've got the Punisher that I don't know that he had ever drawn previously. You've got Darkhawk that I know he didn't draw previously. So you get to see him go from an already solid penciler to just magnetic, man. It just pops. His artwork pops, and it pops for the entire time that he's on the title. You know, no offense to Ron Garney, but it broke my heart when I saw that Bagley had done the cover to ASM 416, but Ron Garney did the interiors. And then when Ron took over with 417, I was kind of like, okay, well, cool. I can live with this. And then the next issue after that, Steve Scrochy comes in, and it's a completely different art style. And so I was really concerned about ASM for a minute, because I said, you know, Ron Garney was kind of at that point in his career where he was very similar in style to John Romita Jr. They both had rather blocky characters, and those characters had heavy shade on them. So I would have been okay with Ron having a long run on The Amazing Spider-Man. But they brought in Steve Scrochy, who did 418 through 428, roughly. So he was only there for like 10 months. And I think he missed 1 or 2 of those issues in there as well. So he was really on there for about 8 months. So it's crazy to see. Let's see, Joe Bennett did 423 and I think 424, and he did a cover for 425, but Scrochy came back at 425. That's right. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this part of the retrospective on Mark Bagley, this extravaganza, if you will. I hope you've enjoyed this. We will pick up at a later date with issue 359, which has Cardiac, and then after that we will move into the Carnage Saga. So I can't wait to get there. Hopefully you guys can as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. And if you did, hit that like and subscribe to keep drawing people to the channel. I'm not feeling good today, guys. I haven't felt good for a day or two, so I'm just bringing my energy down a little bit. But anyway, hit that like, hit that subscribe, bring more people to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.